Alrighty, hey guys, how's it going? Um, Hopefully that's not too loud. Sorry, I screwed up somehow and got all of my settings for Streamlab totally deleted and wiped out. And I was gonna stream this last night. I was all like, "Yeah, let's stream, let's stream." I haven't done it much lately, and I come to find out everything's gone. All my settings, everything. I was playing around with another computer in the basement putting Streamlabs on because I wanted to put stream myself building Gundam models. Um, and somehow the basement computer overrode this computer, and I just lost everything. So I'm manually redoing it. I don't even have Stream Deck set up. I totally forgot about that part. And we'll see how this goes. Hopefully everything works. I guess, like, I'm looking at myself right now. I guess I look okay. Who knows? We'll wing it. If I'm too blaring loud on the mic, I think I'm okay. I'm putting myself in like the yellow section of the bar, but a little less. All right, whatever. All right, so excuse me again. I am Squeetee. Nice to see you guys. I don't even have my banner at the bottom to tell you guys where to find me. But besides YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, that's where I am, and squeetee.com. Same name everywhere. Um, we're going to be watching July's Ashes of Creations live stream. I'm going to have commentary as we watch. I have not watched any of this, so this will be all fresh to me. It sounded pretty interesting. They put out some previews for like deserty stuff. So that's about it. So let's jump right into it. It's got an hour and a half about, looks like, of video, so we're going to be here for a while. So I've got my cup of waters and Pringles. I am on call for work, so I hope to God I don't get a call while I'm doing this stream. If I do, I'm just going to mute it and take the call. And you guys keep watching. Alright, let's do this. Tell me if you guys can see the sound or hear it fine, all that stuff, and hear me fine.
Hello and welcome. Salutations,
Hello,
everyone.
Margaret. You're
Welcome
very
to our
bright.
Ashes of Creation July
Nice
development
switch.
update. We hope everyone has been well and safe over the month. As always, it's exciting months for us. A lot. We
Yes.
blink and the month goes by, but we always have so much excitement in the office and hubbub
Yeah.
as we're, prepared to showcase all the cool stuff for you guys.
Very exciting. It's been hot actually in San Diego this July.
Yeah, my plants.
I will be tweaking
Oh
stuff while we're
no.
Part of the
streaming.
struggle bus, but it's
So
okay.
if you
The
see weird
struggle
stuff
bus.
happen, I apologize.
It's okay. I'm giving them a lot of water and nutrients. Um, Minus the birds trying to eat them, which I didn't even know birds like
Birds eat plants?
they are attacking my tomato plant leaves. But
Oh no.
yeah, so I bought a little greenhouse
Are you,
and put them in it.
that's odd. I wonder what kind of bird is attacking the tomato plant.
Yeah,
Tomato.
man. Yeah, the Tolna are attacking.
That's all right.
But
She's silly.
as always, we'll just go through all of our quick reminders. Today, we are going to be showing off some more techie stuff. Y'all said you want to see more, so
Always
we're going
want
to
to
be
see
showing off
more.
a tech art tool,
Let's go
and we
smash.
have a few different people joining from our team who will be discussing that with Steven. And so we'll be playing a video for you all on that.
Yes,
And
very exciting stuff. And by the way,
yeah.
we in the past we've seen as the community responded positively to any technical discussions. You
Better.
guys have asked for us to kind of do a little more of that in the future, and so today's that day. We're going to have a very technical discussion.
And if you have questions
Cool.
and stuff, pop them in chat. I know we'll try to answer what we can. I usually try to pull questions as well.
I hope it doesn't go on
pertinent to
like
what we're
side
discussing.
story time too much like
But
they usually do.
it's going to be exciting.
I love them to
And then,
death,
of
but
course, we have a character art
I
update,
don't
which
think I could
includes
handle it.
a race that you haven't really seen much of. So I'm sure you guys will enjoy that. And it's one
Ooh,
that people have been discussing a lot lately.
really?
Vagnar and I were chatting about that, so I think it will be exciting for you guys to see where we're headed for that. And then, of course, we have our studio update, which will be pretty quick, and then we'll do our Q&A, which we'll try to answer as many as we can from the forums that were new questions. But as always, if you ask a question that we've already answered, Vecnar is amazing and goes through and answers all of them for you. So, or it gives you the direction of where you can find the answer as well. So, yeah, very cool. So to kick things off, we have our reminders. First and foremost, we have our spotlight question from YouTube, and we do this every stream. So all you have to do is subscribe to us over on YouTube and leave a comment on the video that is our development update. And you could do that for this one as well whenever we upload it. But today's highlight is from Wyatt Parks, and they actually have a question this time. They said, here's a question. As a crafter / artisan, etc., will I be able to give my goods to someone else and pay them to transport it via caravan system or something to market?
Yeah, why
Or
not?
will I have to be will I have to be the one to do the
No,
caravan
you should.
myself?
It should be a
That's
service.
a
You
very
could do.
good question, actually. And I don't think we have talked about, since that system has had a little bit of a redesign several months ago. But
Redesign?
yes, there is a system-driven way for players to co-op caravan trips.
Oh,
And essentially, you have the driver or
oh,
the
hey,
owner of the
Ellen, how's it
caravan
going? Thanks for the like
preps the
on
caravan for
Facebook.
launch at the caravansary, which is
I
the node
appreciate you.
building that launches the caravans. And he can make a selection to allow designated players or members of his party, excuse me, um, to reserve space within the caravan, and they may then upload their goods into the caravan at the caravansary by interfacing with the UI there. And there can even be an agreement for insurance should the caravan be destroyed. Let's say you find a driver who's run many successful missions and you're confident in their ability to deliver, you may not ask for insurance. But if this is a new person who doesn't have an established reputation on the server for being a successful caravan driver, then you can request insurance, and that's an option that the owner of the caravan has to enable. And when you interface with that UI window, there will be the amount of insurance that will be placed in escrow and given to you should the caravan not make it to its destination, or should the caravan's goods be lost. So there is mechanical systems in place to provide that type of interaction. We feel
I
that
like that.
interaction is good. It's fun. It helps encourage the social interaction that's important to an MMORPG, but also it provides an outlet for players who may not wish to actually drive a caravan or launch a caravan or own a good caravan to transport their goods, to kind of piggyback with other players as they do those things as well.
So, Stephen, have you paid your caravan insurance? Because I'm
Have
here to collect.
I didn't use a caravan. I don't have to make good on that payment.
I'm just
I'm
messing
good.
with you.
He
I'm
owns
just
the company. That's
imagining
needed.
all the memes. Of course. And that is from Wyatt Parks. Thank you, Wyatt, for being a subscriber
good
over on our
question.
YouTube channel. We super duper
I like that.
appreciate it. And we look forward to the next questions or
I
comments.
should
that will be
ask
coming our way
questions.
from
I have
this
questions
update.
a lot, but then I just
And
don't
of course,
ask.
we have our reminder that our
Oh,
Thunder
no.
at the Gate cosmetics will be swapping over August 10th at 11 a.m. Pacific.
I like
Oh,
the
look at the little
doggy.
turtle dude.
I need to get the
like
dog.
his
He's gotta
tail
tell
and his
us
But I also
little
like the little
mouth.
antennas.
Look at that. It looks
How
like a
about this
baby
guy
turtle,
here?
but actually it's big.
Looks like
Yeah,
you're
it's
gonna
a
bring in
mount.
radio signals from
So,
all over the
yeah.
world.
It would be interesting if it was a little baby
Joe,
turtle.
how many biomes will there be in
And
total?
reminder
Like the
that
whole
all of
game?
these variants,
I don't
all
know.
the
There might be
variants that are
like
made
a
from
lot.
these, you'll see in game as
There's gonna be
NPCs,
like
creatures, buildings,
swamp,
etc.,
snow,
which is really
desert,
very exciting for
plains,
us. They're helping us
forest,
build the world of Vera.
ocean,
And we also have our
underground.
latest dev discussion up, which is about world map
What else?
discovery. We'd like to know, would you like to see a
Volcano,
traditional
maybe?
map, world or MMO world map?
I don't know. There's
that
gonna be
once
a lot.
explored updates with the ever-changing state of the world, or would you prefer to see more innovative ways of keeping maps up to date? And y'all have already provided a ton of feedback, but we would love to see some more. So if you haven't headed over
There's a
to the
tropical
forums,
one.
please do so.
So in the
And of
Alpha
course, our
1,
next topic will
hold on.
be
Alpha 1, we had a forest, mountainous area, a tropical area, a swamp, a I don't want to say desert. It wasn't deserty. It was like plateaus, like rocky plateaus. I feel like there's another one. So there's at least 6 in Alpha 1.
regarding tank participation. And I'm sure y'all will have tons of feedback for us.
No,
on
this
that.
was like
So
Bahamas
prepare
tropical.
yourself.
It has been a lively discussion on the design team as well.
Mhm.
Actually,
That's why we have it as a dev discussion.
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see.
It
what
was like it
people
was
think
palm
about that.
trees and stuff.
Steven's like, let's see if you guys agree with me.
No, we cannot load. We shouldn't load the question. Nobody knows who stands where.
I know. I'm not saying what you think. I'm just saying
okay,
like
good, very
it's
good.
it'll be interesting to see if people's ideas or thoughts coincide with what you guys as a development team think. And
Absolutely.
of course, for those of you who are content creators, you're always asking us, where you can apply. We haven't started invitation phase yet, but we are accepting applications.
This thing,
So if you head
content
on
thing has
over
been open
to
for like,
our website or even our
I
support
don't
page,
know.
and you type it in.
This
you
has
know,
been an
content creator
ongoing
program,
thing for like
it'll
6+
come up with a link where
months,
you can
and they haven't
apply.
announced anybody. So either everybody sucks that it's
Which will be very
applied,
exciting. And
or
without further ado, we are ready to head into our tech art tool discussion. Do you want to preface this first video,
Yes.
and then we'll...
I would love to. So, what we're going to see first here is a very brief preview, a sneak peek at
Sneak
the
peek?
desert zones in Alpha 2. And there we don't want to obviously give away all the secrets and show, everything that is intended there for Alpha 2, but you will likely see some interesting buildings that might be indicative of some points of interest, of some dungeons.
Go on.
You might see little glimpse at a raid boss that lives in the desert. It's really kind of, Tristan Snodgrass, our lead environment artist, did an outstanding job putting together this little video showing you guys what the environment team and the tech art teams have been working on and building as part of the Alpha 2 world. So big hearts in chat for Tristan. He spent a lot of time on this. He was up late last night getting the final touches put on it, and everybody who participated in it. But I think you guys are going to enjoy it. It's going to be a brief showcase, and then after that, we will show a technical discussion about one of our internally created tools from some of our very talented senior technical artists, and how we are developing these internal tools to really help build a giant MMO world like Ashes of Creation, and create better efficiency in our workflow processes, right? In the
Is Margaret
pipeline of
dressed
what
up
goes
as
into
Dorothy
making
from Wizard
these
of Oz?
beautiful environments and these
Sorry.
beautiful places in the world. So
Oh,
incredibly
man.
impressed always with the talent that our team has, and is constantly showing, and I think you guys are going to be impressed as well.
They're amazing. I mean, we all talk about it every day, but even in the office when you're like eating lunch with someone, it's just great to work with people who are super passionate, because every time you talk to somebody or ask them for something, it's not like a chore. It's like everyone's excited to do it, which I think is great.
Absolutely. No, and it's always so fun to really just see these dreams that we've talked about for years now starting to come to a quality level that's indicative of what players
Yeah, I
are
want
going
to play,
experience.
Steven.
Yes,
He's been doing
I
this for
know.
5
What do
years
you want
now?
me to do? You see me every we're working our hearts out. Come on. I don't need to get it from you, Margaret.
I know. I'm just saying, from just so the players realize, we also want this
What are
just
those
as badly
boxes?
as you guys. We want to
Yes,
create the game that
yes.
we all want to play. So just
I wanna know what
we're
those
bearing
are.
with you all as well. But with that, I'm going to play a cinematic video, and then we'll
Ooh,
return and we'll chat a little
skinematic.
bit, and we'll head into the tool discussion.
Keep an eye out for some interesting things you might discover in this video. What
Okie
are
dokie,
these
Steven.
structures?
All right, we'll see you in a moment.
Caw. Alright, we got deserty savanna. Got a rhino thing. It just looks like a rhino. Ooh, magical snail. Okay. Desert cat thing. I think. Oh, leave slime on the ground. I like that touch. That's the Yopi guys or whatever they're called. Little scorpion. It's a walking snail now. Nice little building in the back. I love this game, how it looks. It's so beautiful. It's huge. What's that? Looks like one of those giant pillars from art. Oops. Geodudes. Yeah, no, Unreal Engine 5 is amazing. I can't wait till I can't wait till more games start using this. I mean, I'm sure they are. They're not previewing it. Oh look, normal hippos? Not magical hippos? Looks like there's something in their hand. Oh no. Oh, scorpion boss. Uh-oh, double scorpion. Oh, you just saw it? Nice.
All right. Well, it seems like people liked it.
Yeah, I
Also,
saw it up on their
those-
YouTube. I saw like a
whispering
thumbnail of
about
it. I didn't want to
Yes.
ruin myself.
the snorse, as the community has called it. Oh my gosh, the sounds.
The
is so
snorse?
good. I love
Yes.
it so much.
Kat did a great job.
I love
and
nice people.
Everybody did a great job, kind of in this sneak peek. I can see the absolute excitement from the community, just dying to get into this zone. But just to give you guys context, next video we're going to show is about 20 minutes long, and it's going to talk about some of the tech that's been internally developed to work in concert with Unreal Engine and helps remove some of the workflow barriers that typically exist as part of the process of making these virtual worlds. And our tech art team has done a phenomenal job in helping create tools that our artists can use to essentially keep that creative process within the engine as much as possible. So you're going to hear a lot of technical jargon and words perhaps that might be a little foreign. We'll do our best to try to clear some of that stuff up after the video. But I think you guys are going to enjoy watching, what goes into making such environments like this. What goes into making the world of Vera.
All right. We'll see you on the flip side.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live stream day. Very excited to be with you. We have a little bit of a different demonstration to show you all today. We've in the past, we've shown kind of tech that we're using to help build the world of Vera. And today I am joined by three of our extremely talented senior technical artists on the team. I am joined by John, Bruno, and Alan. Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hey, good, Steven.
Doing well. Doing well.
Now, you guys have been working on something for the past little while that is very excited. And as I understand it, Alan, this was something that you began to think about as a tool that our artists could use in the studio.
I like that weathering
development of a world
effect
like ours,
on
as
the,
big as ours, of an MMO.
on that structure.
That of course is a difficult world to build amongst the games that are out there. Tell me a little bit about where this idea came from for our landform tool.
Hello. Yeah, sure. So I was in the studio just trying to figure out a way to kind of speed up my process, other artists' process of creating, art essentially. And then I know essentially how big our world is going to be.
Yeah.
So, I really wanted to kind of think about that as well as my constraints, And so it kind of just dawned on me as I was working through building art for us, about this idea I had, which is
I love the
landform.
detail of how there's
Thankful,
layers
you
of
know,
the statue.
hats off to Bruno for the name. I think it's fantastic. It's awesome.
I like it too. It's perfectly apt for what it does too.
Yeah, totally.
For sure.
Yeah,
And
they
so
went
I
the
was
extra
just
mile
trying
to
to
up
think
and down
of,
ones. That'd be even better.
those ideas, and so I was like just trying to think of like the awesome programs or the softwares that I use, and how can I speed up that flow.
Right.
So
And tell me a little bit about the flow, right?
The
John,
flow.
Bruno, Alan, you guys have been working for a long time in this industry, and you've built a lot of games, and I think you guys even have some MMO experience. Some of you in the past. I think Alan, you worked on.
Yep.
Oh,
World,
nice.
was your last project, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about what that workflow actually is on other projects that you guys have worked on.
So with other projects I worked on, essentially you would build your asset, your model essentially in a third party application like Maya or something, and then you would actually start going in and start detailing it up like in programs like ZBrush, or what other programs that you want to use, and then go in and start texturing after you UV it. And so then you could jump into like Quixel Mixer or Substance Painter, or if you're even trying to do like a tileable or something like that, you go into Designer and make that. So you're going to a lot of these different programs, and you're spending your time doing those processes to create your art. But
right,
essentially,
and each time you kind of move to a different middleware program, that's an interruption in the workflow, right?
Yeah. So like as I'm building something, artists have like this rhythm, it's like this flow that we get into that kind of just help create this thing that we're making, and for me, it's like as I'm building something, I'm in this flow, and it's like I'm getting in this rhythm. If I have to separate and go to another application, I'm starting to do like really technical work. I start that idea that flow kind of like dissipates, it kind of gets more softer and vague, and then before you know, it's like out in the mist, and it's really hard to grab it and then bring it back into vision once you're going through all these applications.
Mm-hmm.
So this workflow allows us to essentially speed that up. And so that's what I was looking through in my ideas and stuff about like, how can we stay in an engine, build a material, a process as well that allows us to create art, but really get the high fidelity that we're looking for, and as well speed, right? Iteration that we just talked about.
I love the variety of plants.
Hey, does this look good? Oh no, that looks great, but what
And
about this? And you're like, oh yeah,
the
yeah.
plants
let's
aren't
up.
just
And then before you know it, you're like,
three
okay,
different
and then you
versions.
have to go
There's
back.
like 7
and you're
versions
out of that
cactus out
application
there
or out of
that they've morphed
engine
and made.
into another application, and then it just goes through this big long process. So if you can do that and build it inside the world that you're making, then that flow, like really that rhythm starts to come a lot easier. And before you know it, if you come to me, Steve, and you're like, hey, Alan, I want this cliff to be a little bit higher,
Yeah, really an actual desert. That looks like nothing but rolling dunes.
Into my application and do that. But now with this tool that we're making and this process that we have really defined, now we don't have to do that.
Bruno, talk to me a little bit about what made this possible with Unreal Engine 5, our migration over to UE5, as opposed to previously with UE4.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is something that, of course, became available quite recently with geometry scripting within UE5, and that's basically like the tool set that we're using to create landform. So that's actually something that's like really, really fresh and new. And
yeah, games never do
technology
quality deserts, or it's
so
like rocky
before,
deserts,
of course,
and it's
could,
just
like
here's a
Alan
hint of
said, we
sand
could do this
everywhere.
outside of Unreal and go to external programs and stuff like that. But of course, we wanted to keep that flow going. We wanted to keep the artist really connected with the asset that they are working with. So yeah, we use this like fresh new tools from UE5 to create landform, and yeah, the tool is here now, and it's been amazing to work with it. And yeah, just having a really good time seeing it.
Yeah, it's been exciting.
I like to hear the tech guys and
kind of
artists are happy.
seeing our artists react to this tool's availability now as
Mhm.
part of their workflow, and kind of replacing, as you guys described, that external sculpting software like ZBrush or or Maya, and creating really higher resolution geometry to bake it down in this making it usable essentially in the game, in the actual engine itself. John, talk to me a little bit about how this has impacted the team's workflow, and where it's really viable for an MMORPG like ours.
Those shadows are beautiful.
Well, so one of the things that makes it really viable for an MMORPG in this case is the performance side of it. So,
Joe,
I remember I was mentioning something earlier.
I don't know about
how,
that.
Like, I've been wanting to
How true
work on
that
an
is.
MMO
It's
since
possible.
I was
I don't
8
see
years
why
old,
not.
but once I became
I
an
would
adult,
assume,
and
I would
became a 3D
assume that would
artist,
have been
I
a guild
realized
leader
I wanted to work
decision
on an
where
MMO, but I didn't want to be
houses
an
and
artist
everything.
on an MMO because
It's
of the
possible.
limitations.
Maybe there's
Now,
different
one of
versions
the
of
things
guild, like a
that our tool
dictatorship, a
does here
democracy.
is it allows us to grab
That'd
that higher
be interesting.
fidelity,
That'd
not
be
just in
nice
the textures,
change
but the
to
actual
guilds in a game.
geometry. So you see the silhouettes of all of the details that
Maybe you can have a republic.
you might
have,
go
like,
and play your
senators.
favorite MMO that you've been playing for 15 years and everything's all flat. There's no bumps, there's no ridges or anything like that. But then now here we are trying to bring in that extra dimension,
Bribery.
essentially. And
Absolutely.
right before joining Intrepid, I spent some time in film and doing a lot of that film level scenery, and I wanted to bring that into the game, and I didn't think that was possible until we started really working on this. And then so Alan's got his ideas that he's putting forth, and Bruno is building these tools here that's actually making it possible. And then one of the main things I'm doing over here is, making sure that it's optimized and we're reaching that level of performance that is still going to be
Maybe
able to
not
run on an
directly
MMO.
climb it.
I've got a lot of friends
glitch
that want to play
jumper
this
way up
MMO
here.
so badly.
Don't
But-
we
I'd love
all?
to.
But they're
We
still
all.
they're still running their 10 series graphics cards. They haven't been able to either find their RTXs or afford them even, because they got really expensive there. And so for me, it's really important that we reach that fidelity, but we do it in a way where those people can still play it, because when every time you try to increase the fidelity in a game, you run the risk of alienating a part of your potential player base.
Right.
Yep.
And for me, the most important thing, I want it to look good, but I also don't want to alienate any of these people that want to enter the world of Vera and be
Absolutely.
part of our community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we've all played MMOs, right? We're all MMO gamers. I remember, we've talked about the kind of games that we've played, and one of the biggest components of a fun experience in an MMO is having a very high population, having a lot of people around you. And the more
Oh, that shell
that are
doesn't rock that
capable
much.
of playing an
Maybe that's
MMO
just
that's
me.
in Unreal Engine
Should,
5,
Move
which,
a little more.
this type of tool
What is
allows
this,
us
Play-Doh?
to, as you just described, make this a viable
Oh, that's nice.
application on lower end spec machines.
Mhm.
And that is really alleviating a barrier to entry that a lot of newer generation games have that we're trying to lower. So tell me a little bit about what we're seeing here with this modeling. You guys are watching some of these demonstrations of the manipulation of the tool actually in the engine itself. Talk to me a little bit about what we're looking at.
Sure.
Anybody?
We can jump into looking at the tool here, and essentially what we're doing is we're taking a lot of if we have any 3D artists or game developers out there watching today, we're taking a lot of that external painting aspect and bringing it into the engine.
They should sell this.
We're not
They
using
should
Painter,
sell
we're not
this-
using Mixer for this.
this
But both
program.
of those were inspirations on what we're doing here.
Absolutely.
And just, you know, the end result is going to be that we're essentially displacing this texture into actual geometry. But I'll let Alan jump in and talk a little bit about what we're looking at here.
Sure. So I think that one of the things that was big for me is the UX part of this, right? Is bringing the user experience of how these programs work within Unreal. So what we're looking at is essentially me painting texture sets on this model that allows us to basically duplicate how, you know, Painter would be or Mixer essentially. But now we're able to do that within Unreal, and I'm able to use Mega
that's cool.
assets. You know, they're tileables
That's
essentially, and I'm able to paint layers on this, which are, you know, what we're looking at right here. And then, you know, you have a way to blend between the height, so in and out. There's a lot of dynamic masking going on. And all this is basically allows the artist to create the thing that they want to in engine, which is fantastic. And right now what you're looking at is I was able to sculpt inside of Unreal, push in the inside. Before I'd have to go to like ZBrush, you know, and then, you know, with the tool, I'm able to get the things I need to bake out, and I'm being a little, you know, descriptive there, you know, so we can hide a little bit of our secrets.
Game
you know,
artist top.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm able to displace it, and then I can keep on using Unreal's tools to keep on refining my process, you know, in the mesh and the asset, you know, and any time.
And he's doing right
through
in the
this,
engine, so
and
it's right
big
in the
part
game
of
rules.
this, and Bruno can talk about that, and even John, is that this is a non-destructive workflow. And that was really important to us because this allows me to be free of that. I don't have to worry about, oh shoot, did I do the wrong thing? You know, am I
Iteration is
Yeah.
king.
right?
Yes,
Exactly.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
this just allows us to move forward and then also move back without any hiccups, and it's just fantastic.
Mhm.
Yeah, Bruno,
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I can comment on it real quick. But basically, what Alan's saying is that you can always go back to your original meshes and to your original assets and redo the process or create an entire new mesh
Yeah,
based on
really.
that same, you know, starting point. And it's always going to be there for you. It's not.
I
like,
see Intrepid once
basically, this
after
is
the
what a
creation
non-destructive
is
workflow.
launched
You
and
can always go
steady.
back
I see
and
Intrepid
undo
making
or,
many
you know,
more
start again from
games.
scratch if you
Maybe
want
in
to
the
do an
Ashes
iteration of it.
universe,
It's just really powerful.
maybe
It
like
gets
RPGs,
that
strategy games. I know
gets the artist
Steven
like,
once,
about,
like,
oh, I'm not gonna break anything, you know.
4 years ago,
So
made
I say
his
like go and
grand
break things because
plan
you can always go back.
was to make the
Right.
Vera
And
universe or
John, you were
planet
talking
into
about,
like
you know,
a
iteration is
franchise.
king.
So
And
there's
voice
he wanted
sketch,
books he
especially
mentioned,
on an
RPG,
MMORPG,
single player
where,
games,
let's say,
strategy
designers
games,
might
like
come
all
to
this
you
stuff.
and want this cliff face
I
to
think it'd be
be looking a
amazing
little
if
bit
he got that
different
off the
for
ground.
the needs of their quest, or the pathing that they might want to have a certain monster take around a particular POI or some statue
Oh,
like
I'm out of
this,
water
right?
already.
And you guys have, with the ease of this tool, the ability to make those iterations actually in engine.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things here, you know, going through and, you know, painting on something and, you know, sculpting on it and trying to get all those details in, you know, you spend a lot of time doing that. And in traditional workflows where you would do it in external sculpting software and things like that, you know, it was a headache when somebody would come to you and want some kind of iteration, but that's the reality of the industry. It's all about iteration. You know, the first version is never the version that makes it in. And if anybody tells you it is, then they're lying to you.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's like one of the things I always tell my students that I mentor is that, you know, the key to being a 3D artist in this industry is you cannot get married to your work. You have to.
You know what? That's
Absolutely.
so funny, John, that you say that, because at the start of every design meeting, I make each of our designers go through and say, I am not my design, and my design is not me.
This is my asset. There are many like it. But
There are
this
many-
is mine.
This one's mine.
Exactly.
That's fantastic.
So,
Yeah. So, but that's the thing. There's the iteration side of it, but then there's also the variation side of it. And one of the things that I personally wanted to use this tool to approach was variations. So, like, one of the things we can do with it is we can take an asset that's essentially built clean, and then we can go in and we can use the landform tool to essentially create a duplicate of that asset, go in and start doing sculpting on it. We can add these extra details. We can add damage. We can add buildup of some kind of gonk or something like that. Save that out, and then set that aside as variant A. Then we can go back in, grab the asset again, start over, paint it a completely
I
different
like the
way.
heat waves in the
create another
desert.
variant of
On
it.
the left
So
side of the statue,
we
you can
could,
just see the heat waves on the edge of
Why
the.
is that
the
important
dunes.
for an MMO where
Yeah.
reusability
Absolutely.
is
Exactly.
key in managing this giant world we have to
Yeah.
make?
Yeah, and so let's say that you have a hall of statues, like 10 statues on either side. In traditional games, you walk through there and you see 10 repeating statues on each side, 20 repeated statues. Now, you could go in and you could sculpt in all kind of damage detail to create variants, but a problem that you run into on the performance side is that now you're adding a lot of resource
Yeah.
overhead, and then that tanks things down. Your frames per second goes down.
Some
all of
engineer
that.
comes screaming at you down
Yeah,
the
or the
hallway.
tech artist. The tech artist starts like shooting you with a Nerf gun and
Yeah.
giving you the. But what we can do here is we can have an artist sculpt out something beautiful, and then we get it into the engine. They sculpt that beautiful statue, and then you take that statue and you can create even 19 more variants of it, right?
Quickly.
And you can go through and you can use the tool to paint it in a different way, to create damage in different places, and then have those all lined up. But every single one of those is using the same set of textures, tileable textures and everything that were used to
Yeah,
use
there's
the
going to be
tool on.
talent trees. There's going to
And
be, at least
so
from the Alpha 1,
Traditionally, you couldn't do this.
you've
because you would
got
have
your
to have
main
20
class
different
talent tree,
bespoke
you have your weapons
texture sets,
talent
and
tree,
now you have one
then there's
that
another
is
one.
used across all
I think
20
like
of
a
those
generic
statues,
one.
but
You
they
could put
still
in
look
for, like,
different because
Weapon like just general damage, but you had a weapon one,
extra detail,
a class one,
writing,
and then a
variation.
generic
So,
one, if
Yeah.
I remember.
iteration.
But I'm sure that's going to change. But there is a point system, so you can tweak your
And then the
characters
other
how you
thing-
like.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, if I can add to that a little bit, there's a big aspect of this tool that is like the procedural workflow that we're using here. But I just wanted to comment real quick that even though yes we're using like all of this like procedural techniques in it, it still gives the artist all of the power. So there's still someone curating that procedural workflow, right? So it's not like we're pressing a button, generate statue. There's someone still going in there and painting that detail and adding that detail where it needs to be, right?
There's
Yeah,
an
it's-
artist behind every part of it. Yes.
Yeah, it's all
Absolutely.
curated.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I was going to mention too, is that it's basically procedural with hand painted work. So you're able to get a best of both two worlds, get something that's done very quickly because it's procedural, and then have the artist control that and paint out what they want to see.
Mhm.
Absolutely
like it.
phenomenal.
I
Well,
like it.
guys, I think I speak for the community when I say that we are incredibly impressed with not just the hard work that you're putting forth in helping make Ashes of Creation a reality, but also the way in which you're using your minds to create more efficient workflows so that the task of creating a world as big as Ashes, as big as
Hello and welcome
Oh,
back.
cut them off early.
We hope that you all enjoyed a little bit more of a tech-heavy.
I did. That
piece.
was enjoyable.
I know there weren't a ton of questions. I had a feeling that there weren't going to be a ton. There are a lot of people asking who is she? The Sand Mom statue lady.
Sand Mom?
Yeah.
Well, we can't answer that. That's something that you will need to discover in the world. But
world.
she does have significance, absolutely.
Bet
Oh my
she
gosh,
does.
Sandal Queen. I like that one too. It was great.
Sandal Queen.
But yeah, I thought I would ask it, even though I know we won't believe you an answer quite yet, but you'll find out, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, no,
yeah.
you know, it's always great to have these you know, technical showcases as well. I know in the past we've done developer diaries, and we want to get around to doing those again, but you know, there's a lot that goes into making an MMORPG, but especially in making a large open world. And there are not a lot of out of the box tools that help with that process. So it's important that, you know, as a studio, as a development team, that we're conscientious of our workflows, of the pipelines that require us to think outside of the box in making specially curated tools to improve that, to make it scalable, to make it possible within the amount of time we want, to build the types of things that we want to do. And
Makes
a
sense.
lot of that, for especially the creative realm of game creation, you know, it is about keeping the consistency of that creative workflow in place. And oftentimes, some, you know, the middleware software that's available out there is amazing. It is incredibly versatile. There's never going to be a way that you will entirely remove that from, I think, the process, at least not for some time. But where we can mitigate that, at least on an iterative level, that's where it's very fruitful to an artist or to the development team to be able to stay within the engine for those iterative processes, right? And the landform tool is really useful. And in fact, you know, this is, and I know it was said in the discussion, but this is just the early application of that landform tool. There's a lot more
They
that's
really gotta
planned
sell it, make
to
some
make
money
that
off of it.
tool
They
very
really should.
versatile in its capabilities within the engine. And it's going to be exciting to see it incorporated further in our pipelines. So very impressed by the incredible work that our technical art teams, as well as our art teams in general, are doing to bring Ashes of Creation, the world of Vera, to life. And I know you guys appreciate kind of getting insight under the hood, especially those of you who are amateur developers or who are just getting started in the industry or who might be at other studios. This is also an incredible recruitment tool, so that, you know, one thing that is the lifeblood, I think, of any project out there in game development is the tools. The tools that you have access to help ease, to help scale,
I mean,
to
that makes
help
sense.
inform what it is that you're developing. And you know, here at this studio, we put tools on a pedestal, right? We want to make sure that we are providing our developers with the tools that they need, and that's why we have very technical teams that are conscientious of how we can apply the technical art knowledge or the engineering knowledge to facilitate that tools development. And we also want that to be a high point when we prospect new developers to join our team, that they get to see the types of tools that are available when working not only with Unreal Engine 5, which is an incredible engine created by Epic, but also within the the tool sets that we're
He's probably gonna
creating
say that
internally as
once,
well
at
to
least.
interface with Unreal Engine 5. And that's a very important aspect. So happy to share that stuff with you guys, and I hope you guys are excited to see that and learn about
I
it.
am.
And it's a fun aspect of making games.
And I think one of the main things that we've been trying to show you guys is like the journey of creating a product, creating
I
a
didn't
game,
realize the
you
lights
know?
behind
I
you
don't
was
think a lot
so
of people get to
crazy.
experience that. And you're getting to see not only, you know, the outcome of what is the creation, but the process of creation. And
Absolutely.
Of
so if you want to
Ashes
see
of
more of those things,
Creation.
do let us know.
You know,
But
we all know this because we're all gamers, but
yeah,
games are the future. I mean, the gaming market today is larger than any other form of entertainment combined. And it's only going to continue to grow as
Is it, Steven?
more and more people get access and familiarity with computers and consoles and whatnot. So, it's kind of like being on the cutting edge of, the advent of the internet or of computers. Gaming is in and of itself something that is the future. And we're going to see more and more development teams continue to become, worthwhile investments on the gaming side, for us to participate in the development and the journey of. And it's great that you guys. I think it's great that
Can I invest in
one of
Intrepid
the things I love
Studios?
about Ashes is the ability to interface with the community and having that open and transparent development process. Because I just think about how 15, 20 years ago when I was playing games, at 18 years old, that I didn't get this type of insight.
No,
Right?
I
I just
cannot.
grabbed the title when it released. Now there's an opportunity to kind of watch the progress, to watch the development, to learn and understand. And I think that's a really cool aspect. Not for everyone,
He's
of
not
course,
much older than me, which
but
I
it
always
is
find
something that those of
funny.
us who are interested in have the opportunity
think.
to do so now more and more today
Let me
than we
double
ever
check
did in
his
the
age.
past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think from a developer standpoint, as like a person working at a company, I've worked, at quite a few, and when you don't have the right tools, it can be very frustrating. So, praise Stephen for allowing developers to have the opportunity to spend time to create tools. I think a lot of the times they're like, okay, well, Access is your tool. You have to use that. And you're basically just like pasting spreadsheet data in there and like you're crossing your fingers hoping stuff doesn't break. Right.
Oh,
and
I've heard
that's the
horror
age that
stories.
I've come from is, 16 years ago, it was not this way.
Right.
Having tools that we can
Oh,
utilize and make
so
processes
bright.
faster. I think you mentioned being scalable, as we pull more people on or not needing as many people because you have great tools that do things faster. I think it's just trying to explain that to folks who, maybe
Absolutely.
don't get to, be in the day to day of creating like a game or any product.
Absolutely.
All right. With that, unless you have anything else you want to add, Stephen,
No.
we shall
I
move
think
on
he's like
to our character
35.
art
I
update,
don't know.
which,
I don't know
to
why I'm
preface
nitpicking it.
first, we will be showcasing a new race that we haven't really, well,
Tolnar,
some things
Tolnar.
on the
we showing the
Empyrean
Tolnar?
in the past. No, we're not showing the Tolnar.
Oh,
Damn it,
okay.
the
Steven.
Tolnar. We're going to show you
scared
like
me.
a toe to start with.
No, we had...
Tolnar.
But I'm gonna let you know the Tolnar looking sick.
Oh, they're looking
So
Until I see it, Margaret,
cool.
I don't
My
know.
team is just like losing their mind. But
Oh,
not today.
man.
Not today.
Maybe we
Why'd you
can
get them all amped up?
I know. Maybe we can just show them the concepts. Maybe we can just show them the concepts. Can you pull that in like live?
Maybe
You
I
have
could.
that?
I don't have
Steven's
it.
totally
I
derailed
can
this
send it to you right now
stream.
if you want me to.
I feel like we could do something cooler with showing
yeah,
that
that's
off.
true.
I don't know. I
Maybe
feel
we
like
should.
maybe disperse the
Steven.
parts to content creators and they have to like put the puzzle together or something. Might be fun.
Do
we
it.
wanna
Make
do
a
that?
puzzle.
We want to show them
It's
the
up to-
concepts. I'm going to leave it in your hands. What do you want?
Oh my gosh.
That
don't
way
do
I'm not the
Steven.
bad guy. No, if I choose not to, I'm not the bad guy. It's all you now.
Okay, well, let's start with what we've got, and then we can decide at the end. And I'll let maybe Vacnar can DM me and tell me. He's like, I wasn't prepared for this. What he thinks in a DM.
Do it live. We're gonna
So, first and foremost, let's show off the Empyrean.
I'm going to be
which
in
we
so
have-
much trouble after this, you guys. If you don't see me for a week, call for help. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I work for you, man.
I
You tell me
know,
what
I
you
know,
want.
I know.
So here's a look at the Empyrean. We've had a lot of questions about the Empyrean. I've heard a lot of people asking about them. People want to have that more high elven look. There were some questions in regards to whether the headpiece part is part of them, but I think
Margaret,
that's just
someone just screamed, give us the toe.
just the toe. All
Just
right,
no, just kidding.
Bagner, get me an image of the toe.
I'm
We'll
sending
showcase the
it. I'm sending it
toe.
right now. But guys, so remember, the important part here is we've always said this that art is always improving. It's always a work in progress.
Okay.
And part of the art that excuse me, Manny and the character team have been doing has been doing an audit of our character races, and you guys saw this first with the pyre. I think was it first with the pyre or first? No, first was with the
No.
dwarves with
Yeah,
the Dunir.
dwarves. Yeah.
Then the pyre, and
I
now
think
you're seeing
Nakua,
the
yeah,
Empyrean.
which are, yeah, they're part
Right.
of the dwarves.
Now you're seeing the Empyrean, and these are updates to give some more unique character
More
to each of
eyebrows,
the
that's what they're
individual
giving.
races, and also to bring them up to a quality level that is respective of
If you
the
like those
warrior
eyebrows, give
quality.
this
So
video
you
a
guys
like.
see this concept.
If you're on
these
YouTube,
concept
if you're
pieces
anywhere
right
else, I don't
here,
know what
which
you
is
do.
the reimagining that Manny's done, kind of the
Well, Facebook, you can
Empyrean
like it.
elves. And you guys will recall when you saw the Pyre concept to the Pyre model, it is very similar. It is almost one-to-one between concept and model. So this gives you a very good idea what these models are going to look like, which we will show you soon. They're almost done, not quite yet. As a matter of
I
fact,
always forget I got
Margaret, you threw them on the run of show, but
Roku on the
I
bottom of my
totally
head.
took them off because they have just a few other things that they need. The Empyrean models.
Oh
Remember
yeah,
yesterday in the PI meeting?
the models. Yeah, I had the actual models, but you had me pull them.
They're almost
show
done.
the concept.
Almost done.
Yeah.
Almost done. Yeah, ready for sure.
I always like showing you guys the concept and then what the in-game looks like, because it's like they look so similar. It's so good. Next, we have shown the Renkai before. You all gave us a lot of feedback on it. We are making a lot of changes to all of the races to make them more unique. Each of them having their, like, I mean, you've seen like the building culture and how different each of those are. And Steven's really driving the direction for the art now. So this is kind of the new direction of the Renkai.
Okay.
It's not finished, but yes.
Asians.
And yes, you will be able to still have red skin too. But this is just the green skin showing you that.
Yeah, there's going to obviously be a lot of customization options where you will have some direction on skin pigmentation for the different races. You're not just going to be delegated to green orcs. You're going to have options there where you can customize those things. But this is the recently work in progress touched up concepts for the Renkai, and I love it. I think they're looking
I love
great.
it. It matches kind of the vibe they have with all their architecture, like the very swampy, like pagoda
Yeah,
style.
I do like that.
I feel like it just.
I wonder if I can find a
This
clip of their
feels
house.
more
real quick.
like what they should be. I like it.
Absolutely.
That's cool. All right. And of course, we will have threads going up for both of these, as well as for our desert biome goodness. So if you do have thoughts on any of these things, please feel free to pop over to our forums and give us some feedback.
By the way,
Next.
just in case,
Yeah, that's
you
kind of
choose
the
to
housing
pull that
they
trigger,
have
Yeah.
HUDs.
the Talnar, I've added it
Hello?
to yours, mine, and Rye's DM in Slack, so you have it there.
Oh, Raya's out today. He's
Oh,
Okay,
click
sorry. Here,
stuff.
I'll send it directly to you.
And then here's some more of their HUDs.
Ooh, okay.
Doing
Thank
it
you, thank you.
live. Yep.
I will download that. Okay, so this is the Guys of the Negotiator set. Very, very cool.
Is this new?
Oh, I love this set. Who worked on this one, by the way?
Believe this was Jeremy
Jeremy? No. He's a
for design. But
Oh.
Eli worked on it for
There
the
we go,
art.
Eli, nice. Yes. Jeremy on the design side and Eli on the modeling side. So I love this set. It's just so, and it's appropriate that it actually lined up with the desert biome.
did. It
Right,
was
yeah, it does look very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got to see my whispering whelk that I designed.
Which I get,
Oh.
because like
I thought you were gonna say no the first time I was putting that together, because I was like,
you're gonna have
"You
like
think I'm
similar
crazy?
looking
I'm putting
outfits
horse and a
in
snail
an
together."
area. And maybe
I didn't know that
get
you
away
love
with
snails until
I
after.
like
Using similar
kidnapping
features.
real animals together into a fantasy.
Yeah.
That's where the Bagora.
They brought it to life, and it's just like it's when you design something, and then when you see the art, and then the concept, and then the art, and then you get to see it like working, and oh
Heck
my gosh,
yeah.
makes you
So
cry.
cool. I like the little shoes on this guy, by the way.
Yeah, the little
Elf shoes.
The little
Pointy.
curl.
Elf shoes.
Yeah.
So cool. Eli
Uh,
did a great job modeling this.
It's very good, Eli. You killed it. Nailed it. And then, of course, the lovely desert statue that you've all seen in the video, but here's
Who
the model
is
of
this desert mama?
it. The sand mama.
Yeah, the sand mama. Who is this?
Hey, who's this
Uh,
hot
and
baby?
Jinsey worked
She looks
on
like
this
Conan
one.
the Barbarian.
Yes, Jinsey modeled this one.
And then we've
Love it.
got our Lightfoot Leveret.
I'll give a hint. There is
Ooh.
some importance to the
Oops.
iconography on her circlet. On her oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I just hit the wrong
Okay,
button.
there we go. So there is a symbol that is present on the front of her circlet, and there's something relevant there.
Everyone's going to be zooming in
a
and
diamond.
looking.
I know.
All right. And then this is the Lightfoot Leveret, which is, I don't know if I'm saying
I
that
cannot
right.
wait
I
for the animations.
Designed this, but I don't.
I
how to say
can't
it.
wait for the animations for this one.
She designed
I
it, doesn't know how
know.
to speak
It's got
it.
a hop.
It's got to hop. It's got to hop and
Oh my
be
God,
a fast
Margaret.
little rabbit.
Oh, I'm so excited. I love the ears.
Yeah, the ears are great. It'd be cool if you could grab the ears as part of the rider
Oh,
animation. Like when you sprint, you grab them and pull them, and it's just like you're holding on for dear life.
Instead of having reins, you grab the ears. That'd be cute.
PETA
next
would
up,
be
we've
all
got
over this.
Our little farm ducklings. They're so cute.
What are these from? Just random
This
farm
reminds me of
ducklings?
The ducklings that John and I had over last summer that all got eaten by those falcons.
Steven.
Wow.
Steve.
They had
Way to bring down
they
the
had
mood.
Well, they had short but sweet lives. It's a
Yeah.
circle of life. You know,
I
that kind
know.
of stuff happens. You know, we looked it up actually afterwards. Only 10% of ducklings born in the wild survive to adulthood.
Doesn't surprise
Only
me.
10
I
okay.
see lots of like peregrine falcons in my backyard, and they just like take babies or
Oh yeah,
mama birds. It's crazy.
We walked outside like the day they were born. There were falcons just circling above, and I totally tried to like steal the ducklings to raise on our own,
Oh,
but John did not allow me to do that. He was like, "You're never at home. You're always at the office. There's no way we're going to be able to care for these things. You just have to let them be eaten." And it was really difficult. It was hard for me.
So
but
John's the
it is what it
monster.
is.
And Stephen did kind of give you a little teaser of the Shade Duckling
Oh.
on Twitter, if you saw that.
Oh, look at him and his flower.
I like that when you teased it, someone replied and tagged me and was like, "This seems like something Margaret would have done." And I was like, "Yeah, I did."
I love the blue. I love the blue. The blue.
I think it's purple. It's
or
like
whatever.
it's like a purple.
Purplish, bluish,
violet.
something. It is. It is very soft. It is nice.
That's purple,
It's
Steven.
wonderful.
You need
And
work
I
those
love the
glasses.
animation for it.
Yeah, here
Oh.
you go. Oh,
So am I gonna have hundreds of these
Vincent
running
is
around
such a
my
good dad.
freehold?
It's so cute.
I think I need to get my screen checked on the. If that's
Your
purple,
monitor,
maybe
if it's
my
showing blue for
monitor is
you.
having problems.
It's like a purpley blue, so I could see that
Yeah.
if your monitor is a little more blue.
Yeah.
That's purple, but okay.
It's very cute. And that is that. No, just kidding.
Adorable.
Give me a second, and we will be showing. Are you guys ready for this?
Ready
I
for
don't
what?
think
Sorry.
they're ready. I don't think they're ready.
Put
Wait,
another
let's
thread together.
Can we just breathe
ASAP.
together first before
Yeah,
we
we
show
can
it?
breathe together.
Let's just breathe.
Tall
for a
nar,
second.
tall nar,
Okay,
tall
so I
nar.
want to talk about the tall
Let's
nar
do it.
before we show this,
Okay.
or the tonar, as it's now been
The
described.
toner.
Okay, so
Tonar.
now remember, the Tulnar had to suffer, some significant amount of time left to themselves as they were essentially left behind during the exodus from Vera. And
Like
it
1,000
wasn't a
years.
pretty existence for the first several hundred years. And there was a culmination. Remember the background for the Kulnar. There was a number of minor races and major races that all sought refuge within the underrealm. And we talked about how this particular player character race was going to have a pretty unique approach when it comes to character customization, because with that background, there comes different species influence in the race itself. And we want players to be able to dial up or down those influences as they see fit between the, the humanoid, the simian or mammalian, and the reptilian influences. And as you dial those things up, your base body, if it exceeds a certain percentage threshold, will assume the form and stance of one of three primary types of influences that exist for the Tolnar. And now what you're going to see
I like this.
is
I like that thought.
those three distinct influences. And you can be, of course, 100% in one if you wish, and you'll be very similar to what you're going to see. You'll be very similar to what you're going to
Oh, my
see.
computer's
here
breaking.
for
It's just
concepts.
Margaret typing.
Or you can mix and match, and you can blend between the different influences. So you guys are about to see, and it's been how many years, and we've never actually shown.
Like 5 years.
So
right.
wow,
I had a big plan for this for the Tolnar release.
Well, hold on.
so-
Now we can do that. We can do that for the model. This is just
Okay,
the
all
concept.
right.
So the when the models are ready and we do the character
Show us the
customization,
toe.
that's the big pomp and circumstance. We can show them
Okay.
and whatnot. But here, this is just.
I'm showing
this
you
is
more
just
than a toe. I'm going to show you
Oh.
an entire face, 3 faces.
Three
so,
faces.
and this is
the
not
three distinct
the limited,
influences.
yeah, necessarily. All right, you ready? Are you prepared?
Oh
I'm
my
waiting.
God, I don't know if I'm ready. I can't believe you're making this decision. Oh, it's crazy.
All right. Here we go.
Steven. Okay.
There we go.
I'm waiting. Oh my God, there they are.
So we got the lizard,
They have arrived.
the dog.
They're so cool.
I don't know what the left one is, though.
Welcome to the Tolnar.
Oh, that's like an
They're
orc.
Proud,
so cool.
Noble, underrealm dwelling race. They bring with them the history and background of those who came before their ancestors, all from different walks of life. And you get to carry those footsteps forward.
Oh, that's
Maybe
cool.
now all the hate for the Tolnar will stop.
Yeah, I think people are going to be changing their
See
ways.
a 180. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a little bit of a 180.
Yeah, the Tolnar are really cool. So, and this is just concept so far. So
Hey, thanks for following
wait till you
Twitch,
see
man. I
the models.
appreciate it.
madness.
JXP.
And again, those of you who want to see what the transition from concept to model is going to look like,
So
great
left one,
reference
the right
is to
guy's
take a
an
look at the
orc.
Pyre concept.
I don't know what the
Pyre
the
model,
horns
because
are.
you have those available, and you can see
Middle,
how
the right
similar,
guy's obviously a
you
You can
lizard
do that with the
human.
dwarf for the
Yes,
Dunir and the
absolutely.
Nukuin, and those are getting some updates as well.
And the
We'll
middle guy
showcase
is-
once Steven approves
It's like
approves
a
those.
lion human
Obviously, Empyrean as we go forward with those, the Pyre.
or
and,
a
we
dog.
do have the Kalar and the
Did
Baleen as
somebody
well.
have intercourse
So,
with a dog?
Yes, and wait
And then
until
a goat
you see
eventually?
how the blend occurs between these three very distinct and unique racial influences within one race, the Tolnar.
That's really cool.
Exciting.
I like that a lot.
very
I really do.
exciting. All right, with that, we're going to move over to our Q&A where we're going to try
The
to plow
best
through
part
as many
usually
of
of the
these
stream.
forum questions as we can.
I don't
so
know
if
what-
you submitted
I'm
a
a
forum
little
question,
taken
thank you
back
so
kind of
much.
about
We
the
always appreciate you
Tolnar.
guys doing that.
I know, I gotta think about
We
that.
try to get to as many as we can. First and foremost, our first one here is from George Black, and they want to know about mounts. Will mobs knock back people off their mounts, or will mounted players bypass all mobs easily?
No.
Knock back.
There is danger to traversing areas with enemies nearby. And there are specific abilities that knock a rider off of their mount should they venture too close to enemies.
Oh yeah, good point. Someone in chat was like, "Studio update." Oh yeah, do you have any updates
Oh,
for on the
whoops.
studio front? I got too
Oh,
excited after the Tulnar.
I just got
Yeah,
a
we're gonna have to wait for
question
the
mind
3D
frame.
ones. Like
Yeah,
the
I went
body,
into
I think
question
is going to
mind frame
show us a
after
lot more.
the Tulnar.
Just
Sorry.
the head
The
kind of
studio
seems
updates
out of
is
place.
relatively short. I mean, we've been, of course, continuing to have incredible results from our recruitment processes.
Or maybe when they
Pam
make
and
it
Stacy and
like the
HR
character
team in
creator, we
general
can
have
see
been
the slider.
doing an
Maybe
incredible job in sourcing talent. We have,
that'd be nice.
several hundred natural applicants that come in each month. I believe in July, we've hired so far about 8 people, a little bit slower than the beginning of the year or the end of the year. Of course, that's natural when it comes to job searches. I do, however, want to take this moment to note, those of you who are watching and can help spread this word. We did put out a PSA announcement a few days ago on our AOC support Twitter. If you're not, uh-oh.
My light
It's
just went
dark.
out.
Oh, I thought you lost power. I'm like, and there goes the stream. But we did
No,
put
my
out a.
Wi-Fi is being weird, and these are like Wi-Fi lights.
Oh, interesting. To once again state, we did put out a PSA on this. There are some very unfortunate people in this world who take it upon themselves to attempt and scam others. We all sometimes get those spam calls that are pretending to be people they're not, but now it's begun to encroach in on the territory of job recruitments. And there are some people
Why?
out there on LinkedIn and other platforms that are pretending to be Intrepid Studios recruiters, and they are asking for information that Intrepid Studios would never ask for as part of the job application process. So I want to make sure that those of you who are out there who are looking for jobs, not just within this industry, but any industry, always be cognizant of the information that you share with others. It should never be appropriate that you pay a fee or you're requested to pay for equipment or provide social security numbers or identification or copies of passport in order to apply for a job. And one other thing that's very unique to our studio, I think, is that no one ever gets an offer from Intrepid Studios unless you've had either a video chat or an in-person interview with myself. So these people have been pretending to do actual interviews as well.
Full on in interviews, which is just
crazy.
madness.
What the
It is
hell?
crazy.
I saw their email about it
so
or
help us spread
PSA
that
or whatever.
word.
But
It breaks my heart when I see, we've had a couple dozen people who've been affected by this. We did put out that announcement
couple
on our Twitter.
dozen?
We are updating our intrepidstudios.com website to reflect some also that PSA, and it is a part of our knowledge base article.
Yeah,
well.
we put it on our knowledge base article. It's up on Twitter, pinned on our support. We retweeted it. We have it pinned on our LinkedIn. And it is on our Intrepid site, but we're having a little problem with the hyperlinks that the web team is fixing. But it is on there and links to it. So
and I am going to say, I'll just take this very brief opportunity to say something. If you are one of the people who perpetrates this, whether for our industry or any other industry, or you're part of anything along those lines, just try to remember we all have families, we all have moms, we all have children or brothers or whatever, and now is a very difficult time in our economy. There's other stuff you can be doing with your life than this. So let's think about that.
be more productive.
Okay, that is the studio update.
Yes. All right, we'll get back to the other questions.
Robot
here.
said we all have toes, including Tonar.
Well, some people don't have toes. So.
Now they're going to be called Tonar.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
I was joking. I was like, we just show them a toe or something,
Market always does
Give them a
this.
tease. We gave you more than a tease. Next up, we have a question from Zyvan and Magic Man about combat abilities. Considering the recent update we've seen to combat, has the team decided on if there will be a global cooldown or not?
That's a very good question. It was a hot topic several months ago as we've been refactoring. Yes, I think that we've kind of gone back and forth with this. It's something that we're going to be testing as part of Alpha 2 and combat in general, is how we surface these global cooldowns, and whether or not we categorize these GCDs across essentially different types of abilities. So I would look forward to more of our combat demonstrations in Alpha 2 to understand, what approaches we're going to take, and then offering feedback as part of those approaches from our testers is going to be very important in that decision.
Cool.
All right. And our next question is regarding animal husbandry from Ultra Red, and they want to know, will there be a cap on how many times an animal can be bred in animal husbandry?
Yes, there will be a cap. Absolutely. That cap is going to be defined by both the type of animal, the quality of that animal, and for what purposes it's being used in the animal husbandry system.
Hmm.
I just want to
And then
mass
we have
produce some
Unknown
pets.
One who wants to know about naval content. Will we be able to fly flags on ships such as coats of arms, indicating association to guilds, nodes, or other groups such as pirates?
That is a very interesting question. We actually are not likely going to have it be a flag-based system, but I believe there will be within our sales the opportunity to utilize unique emblems and custom images potentially for
I like
players
it.
to designate, as well as potentially some locations on the hull for names and emblems as well as a decal.
All right. And then
Sounds
Mick
good.
would like to know about combat corruption. We know that party, raid, guild, ally mates can't flag against each other. But what about if one of them is a PKer? In other words, can your guildmate help you remove corruption by killing you?
Good
You're like, can I
question.
exploit this?
That is that is a very good question. We've also gone back and forth on that in the past as well. As it stands currently, yes, the affiliation between guilds or citizenships is trumped by the status condition of your corruption, and anybody can kill a corrupt player.
Oh,
But again, that's something that we're going to be testing as part of Alpha 2 as well. There are some different approaches that we can think about for that system and how it interfaces with our affiliation system. But it's important to note that even if you are capable of, let's say, killing your friends, we have very unique systems in place with regards to the bounty hunter systems that locate individuals where they are
I
on the
can't
map,
wait to be a
and
bounty
there is
hunter.
always going to be that
And I'll hunt
tense,
down
that
everybody.
anxiety, even as you're facilitating the kill from other players, that someone can drop in on you and pick up the items you may drop or kill you themselves.
All right. And then our next question here is from Lineker asking about Alpha 2, primarily because I think a lot of content creators have been talking about this. Will Alpha 2 be feature complete before betas or launch?
Before beta, yes, the game will be feature complete before beta. That is something that is necessary. Beta really is intended to identify last minute bugs, to kind of make sure that everything is ready for launch. And it's important that all features are complete by beta 1. Yes.
But we'll be making updates to Alpha 2 while it's live to
Absolutely.
get to that point.
Alpha 2 will not be feature complete at the start of Alpha 2. There are going to be
Okay.
updates that are going to be incorporated as part of the Alpha 2 process, and there are going to be additional features that come online that get fleshed out between that time and Beta 1. There's going to be regions of the maps that aren't going to be accessible, of course, during Alpha 2. So that is absolutely an important distinction.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Alpha 2 is kind of like the start of our persistent world where the servers will be up
Absolutely.
day and
Yes.
night until
And the other thing is that
we go
Alpha
to
2
launch,
will-
but we'll have some downtimes in between for
Of
patches and
course.
stuff, right?
Yeah, and the other thing that's important to note is that Alpha 2 will remain even post-launch as our public test server. And that's an important thing to note as well.
I'll just always
Just
play
wanted to
there.
clear things up on that front.
Have the
So
same
there's some
character
extra
forever.
additional content or context. And then we have our next question from Schwan36, who wants to know about naval ships. Will larger ships, both frigates and galleons, have a minimum capacity requirement in order to be mobile?
In order to be mobile, no, you need a captain to drive the ship. In order to be effective, there is a scaling amount of additional personnel that are required on each ship type or class in order to be most effective. And
Okay.
that scales, of course, based on the size of the ship.
So I can have a
Yes,
dreadnought.
and we don't have an Alpha 2 day yet. When we are ready, we
But
will
I can
let
sail
you know,
by
but
myself.
we have
I
some
see
work
all the
we're still
alpha.
working
Yeah,
on.
I see all the Alpha 2 wins. Trust us. When we are ready to tell you, we will tell you. We made a commitment several years ago, not to mention dates until we are as close to certain as we can be with those dates actually being hit. And we want to make it that way. Also, we don't want to be rushed in this process. We're We are a quality first game studio, not a dates first game studio. And what that means is we will take the time that's necessary to ensure the product is ready for those release cadences. And Alpha 2 is a big one. And we
Yeah.
need to make sure that Alpha 2 hits all the marks we want it to hit, both from an internal testing perspective, but is also representative of the promises we've made to the community. And as a result of that, we are going to continue working on the product until we feel it is ready. And when we do, that's when you guys will hear it.
Especially since Alpha 2 is when basically we're up for you all
Right,
to
a
see
long time.
our
Absolutely.
I
game for
respect
a
Steven
long
a
time.
lot.
So
I really do.
we just want to make sure we're fully ready, and it's gonna be a great experience for you all.
Absolutely.
our
This is a
next-
marathon, not a race.
Yeah. Our next question is from Fatal Syndicate asking about castle events. When it comes to castle nodes and castle sieges, are the weekly node events and or monthly castle sieges a guarantee? Or is it possibly that a castle siege / castle node event, I think they mean siege event, could have no challenger and therefore not take place at all?
So castle sieges are on a monthly schedule, and those sieges will always occur on the monthly schedule. Events and node-based events, those are predicated upon certain world state conditions, right? Certain world conditions being met. So it's not always guaranteed that a node is going to suffer some type of event unless a predicate for that particular event or story arc is met within the world. But castle sieges are on a regular cycle.
All right.
Deal.
And then our next question is from Worth asking about node leveling. When it comes to mayoral construction projects that players can bolster, how long would you say it will take players on average to fill / build up a node completely? So that's,
Ooh,
from
completely.
wilderness to metropolis.
Oh, so the question is node level advancement or
Yeah.
within the level building all the buildings that level
I mean,
has
I'm
then?
sure people will want answers to both of those, Stephen, if you're willing
No, I
to
just want to make sure
provide.
I'm giving the right answer. Okay, so we've already discussed it. And you guys, great resource to utilize is the Ashes of Creation wiki. You should go take a look at that for some of these questions because there's a lot of content there. Even if not all of it is still up to date, it is constantly kept up to date by Lex and his team. So
Yeah.
amazing job to them. But a little shout out
Thank
to
you,
them.
Lex. Yes, go check out the wiki. It's amazing.
Yeah, so when
It
we
is.
talk about what's the expected time range for node advancement, it ranges from hours from a crossroads perspective to several weeks from a city, excuse me, a city to metropolis perspective. And the reason for that is, of course, these are the dials in which the world advances. So we want it to be something that is both gradual, but
Work
also
phone turn.
reflects the
Uh-oh.
effort that players have to incorporate as part of getting nodes to those next stages. When we talk about what it takes to actually develop a node at a certain stage and the available progression points that node has access to, whether it's establishing embassies or relationships with the castles or reputation with other nodes so that alliances can form or trade agreements can be utilized and mayoral caravans can be kicked off, or building up certain types of player buildings so that new services can be unlocked, or developing the story arcs out so that there's hooks into the relevant POIs and dungeons nearby. That is a big process. It's one thing to get a node to a certain level. It's another thing to develop the node. And I can't really give you an
Biome do I
average
like the
expectation
most?
because
I don't know.
there's a
I'm
lot
kind
of
of a
variables
classic
at
guy,
play
like
there.
a
There's how many
forest
citizens does the node
or a
have
plains.
attracted
It's
to it?
green.
What's the type of
It
traffic
looks
that the node
nice.
is
Plop down a
attracting to it
house. You
based
have a
on
lovely
things like
view.
its
And then you go to like the
its
desert
tax
on
rates
adventures
or
and
the
stuff.
specialization
My home
that
is
it's
usually
chose to
like
spec into based on
where
the
it's
building types
bland,
it's
I
chosen to
guess.
build. All of those things are
So that way
variables
it's always like, oh, I'm at the
that can
forest, whatever. I'm
affect
just at
the
my free hole.
average, quote unquote, average build out
And then,
time
oh,
of a
let's go
particular
adventure the
node.
desert.
So
And
it's
then you
kind of
pack up
difficult
and
to
you
give
go
you
out.
an average when there's so many variables along those lines. But the idea is
How about
that if
yourself?
there is a particular project that players are interested in developing based on the node stage, that they would have the ability to complete several of those projects within a single term of a mayor. And a term of a mayor is 1 month. And that's an important heartbeat for the node's progression internally.
1 month. Okay.
All right. Cool.
Hopefully that answered your questions.
I mean, I think people will experience it in game, and obviously,
yeah.
as we go into alphas and betas, we'll be adjusting those timelines. You know,
A
making sure that we
rainforest
test
castle.
them and getting a lot of feedback on that stuff as well. So things are
I
subject
have
to
a
change.
well with the weather system. You're going to
From
get a lot of rain in a
classes, or
forest. I
from
feel,
about
and then
classes,
snow, and then
Sonic
everything.
Explosions asking if a martial DPS archetype takes a magical DPS secondary archetype, for example, a night spell, which is a rogue plus a mage, will it scale off of the physical stats, magical stats, or both when it comes to damage and abilities?
That is a
I can't
very
say the
good
word.
question, and I want to reserve the answer for that when we do our deeper dive into combat, because that is a particular point of contact or particular point of information that's related to some future demonstrations we have regarding combat that I think is going to be important to people.
You know,
that are
I've got
interested in.
2 goals in
So
this game. Either
look
one,
forward to when
my
we do
guild
deeper
gets big
dives
enough,
into the
we can hold a
that'll
node
be
We'll be
and
showing
maybe a
class cheat
castle
stuff,
at the same
in
time.
the next few months,
ideally.
which is exciting.
Um,
And then
if
we
not,
have
we become a
Quicken, who wants to know
mercenary
about
bounty
inventory
hunter guild, and we
management.
just
Will
hunt
there be
people
an
down.
in-game
That's
tool
my
for keeping
either
track
goal.
of where you store your items?
Or like
So
a
for instance, like
mercenary,
if I have
we
items
break
in my
caravans up.
stash
That's
or
my
in
2
my
goals.
freehold versus like in a bag or at a bank,
Yep.
like is there one place I can look and be like search to find where I have the item so I know where to find it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is just a user experience that we don't want to make cumbersome, right? We want you to know where the things are, and then the meaningful aspect of that thing is traveling to those locations to access some of those things, particularly as it relates to materials and raw gatherables. That's the important thing. One thing that we are absolutely including is when you're within a node or an economic region, when you're within the node, you are at it. Let's say you go to a crafting station, you have access at that crafting station to pull from your personal storage and warehouse storage at the node. And you don't have to do the run back and forth constantly that all of us are accustomed to in games where, damn, I forgot the 4 petal leaves that I needed to make this, oil or something. I need to run back to the warehouse, grab the thing, run back to the workbench and start the thing. That is something that is just a what's the word?
Nuisance.
Cumbersome?
No, what is it?
Time
Ease of
constraint?
yeah, but
Constraint?
I
I don't
can't
know.
think. My mind
Just
is broken
tedious?
this morning. Yeah, it's tedious, but it's an ease of like
Quality of life?
Thank you. It is
Yeah.
a quality of life feature that I think
Just
is important.
say words at him until you
Yes,
it's
that
the
was much
one.
better. That's where I was going. My mind is, like I said, it's been a long week.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not doubting that. Um, and I think that on the inventory management side, just in general, we're gonna have a lot of UI customization options for you all. So I know that
Yeah.
I
that
hope so.
is a
And-
question. We don't want to allow add-ons. So if there's things you want and features you want, our goal is to implement those features.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when, we were talking a little bit about user experience and UI a second ago, and part of that is really coming to life with what the UI team has been doing at the studio. And boy, is our UI team kicking butt.
So
I can't
good.
wait to show you guys what they have in store for you.
Do
here
it,
with
just like the
new
Tolnar. Show
UI
it,
rollout.
Steven.
But part of that is, of course, providing as much customization option as possible to the user. I know that bleeds a little bit into the add-on world, but I think it's you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised with that.
Yeah, I just wanted to make it clear because people were like talking about it in chat. There's a lot of new people joining us, so welcome, new folks.
Welcome.
Next up, we have Fernoni Siponi, who wants to know about monster coins. During monster coin events, will the hate list for NPCs restrict or affect the buildings players can target and disable?
That's pretty big. Hold on.
It's a very
I want to know what
specific
that is
question.
right there.
Lists. I'm sorry,
I want
say
to
that
know what
again.
those boxes are.
Will the hate lists for NPCs restrict or affect the buildings players can target and disable for monster coin events?
Interesting.
It's a very specific question that I'm uncertain.
So I'm not
the-
sure
yeah.
I'm not sure the correlation between the hate list of the NPCs and the objectives of the event. But it is important to note that when events occur, there are very prescribed and specific number of objectives that can be targeted, right? You aren't streamlined into one particular. You have an option in front of you to select from. but those aren't affected by any type of hate list that might be incurred from
Okay.
NPCs. So when you're playing as a monster from the monster coin use as part of an NPC event that might be targeting a node or some other open world objective or POI or dungeon, you get to participate as a monster, and your focus is completing objectives that have already been prescribed as part of the event.
I think this
And
monster
So, for instance, like
token
if
event
you
stuff is going to
are
be like
part
the
of a
hidden
monster
gem
coin
of this
event that
game.
is attacking
They
a
don't
node,
talk
and
about
you're
it
specifically
enough.
to take down a specific building.
yeah, like let's just workshop it.
I think it's
Let's
gonna be
say, for
great.
example, you have an event that is
I hope.
the predicate for this event kicking off was that a raid boss was killed in a nearby dungeon, and it was killed for the 50th time, or it was killed by some particular storyline end, or whatever the predicate system is in the world state to say, hey, kick this event off. Well, when that event kicks off, a number of spawners activate around the node, and NPCs start moving towards a node. The node is notified, like, hey, there's something happening here. You guys should put up your defenses, focus on this thing. And those with monster coins who are within the area and are not a citizen of the node or an affiliated node can choose to activate their monster coin to become one of the monster types that exist within that event. And that event has a number of targets. And let's say for this particular story arc, the thing was we need to find, artifacts and better weapons in order to defeat these bosses at the bottom of this dungeon. And a lot of players went through that process. They found those weapons and whatnot. Well, those things might be stored in 3 buildings that exist within the node. They might be stored within the armory. They might be stored within the barracks, and they might be stored at a workshop that has access to a workbench that they've chosen to build. And that could also potentially serve as a predicate. And when you become the monster, those are your 3 objectives. And you don't need to destroy all 3. You potentially just need to destroy 1, or you destroy as many as you can if it's a time selected event. And you might have targets that are NPC related as well, such as the blacksmith that's at the workbench, or the captain of the guard who's at the barracks, or whatever, who's at the armory, right? And you get to go in and you get to kill other players potentially
It
during
sounds
this
so
who are helping to
cool.
defend the city. And you can
We
also
can make a whole
make it
game
to the
about this.
objectives and potentially help in destroying the building or killing the NPCs. That is the type of objectives that would exist within a monster coin system for an event.
All right. So there will be some semblance of restriction to answer their question.
Yes, correct. Yeah, it's
depending on what the
defined by
event is. Yeah.
Yes.
The next question is from Lashing, and they want to know about AI behavior. Will mobs be able to buff each other up when grouped up, like an NPC bard buffing its allies?
Good question.
Yeah, absolutely. There are social AI systems.
Want to.
Yeah, it's important to note that
They can do whatever
AI
they want.
system that Russ and Chong have been working on is extremely versatile. And it also provides the capability of having a scoring system when it comes to the behaviors that the monster is going to utilize. And it can do some of those behaviors in parallel depending on how that scoring system comes out. And part of the interaction that we want to have existing between groups of AI or groups of monsters is the ability to support other monster types or classes that might be a part of that social group, not just from a social aggro perspective, but from a social support perspective as well. That is an important component of the AI system, absolutely.
And our final question is regarding leveling up, and this is from Min0. With leveling set to take a while, will each level have a reward attached to it, such as learning an ability, a talent point, or perhaps class quests, etc.? Or will there be levels where you don't get something?
No, I think I mean you're gonna get something for each level. There are going to be some levels that are more monumentous in your progression than other levels. But I don't like the drought between leveling process where you get nothing for a level. I think that's anticlimactic. I think it is not indicative of a good reward system or a good progression system.
I agree.
I think you can emphasize some levels more than others, and that's a great way to do progression. But I think ultimately that you should see a reward for your progress or effort spent at a granular level. And that's something that's quantitative and compels you to continue progressing.
Yeah, of course. We want to keep you wanting to level up.
Yep.
And of course, that is going to wrap things up for our July development update. We hope that
We
you
made it.
all enjoyed it. You
Not
got
a bad
little
one.
something a little extra than what we had originally planned. But of course, we will have some feedback threads up. Please head on over to our World Map Discovery Dev discussion. We would like to kind of start putting that report together. So if you have thoughts, please go over there and pop them over there. And of course, we'll have a feedback thread up for the desert biome, Empyrean, Renkai, and now the newly revealed Tolnar as well. So please provide your feedback,
Tolnar.
and we'll be putting those reports together for our teams. And as a reminder, the Thunder at the Gate cosmetics will be swapping over on August 10th at 11 a.m.
August
And
10th. I gotta buy
we
those.
will see you all next
do.
month for another dev update. And
Yay.
thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Steven
Yes.
for his time. It's meant.
I gotta just ask something.
if
I
you
gotta
want
put
to
comments
make a
down.
short
I don't know.
comment. And of course, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all the things. We're there. We post almost daily for you. We love interacting with you all, and we always ask you a lot of feedback and thoughts over there. So if you have any, please head on over there and interact with us and have fun. We also have a Discord where we chat all the time. Vagnar and Roshan are always in there interacting with folks, our forums as well. So come hang out with us. We're excited for you to join our journey, and we will see you next month as we show some more progression for Ashes of Creation.
Yay. Have an awesome weekend, everyone.
Toodles!
Bye. So that was pretty good, guys. Title or whatever it is. So that was a pretty good stream. It was more like they said, it was more technical than other streams they've had, which is totally cool and fine. I like it a lot. 6 a.m. here? Man, it's after 11 p.m. for me. Yeah, you need to get to sleep, man. I'm glad I'm ending it now. I'm ready for bed too, but yeah, no, that was a good stream. I was very happy with it. The Tolnar looked very interesting. Makes me want to create a Tolnar character now. I'm hoping that the leveling system isn't too heavy, that I can have multiple characters with multiple, skill trees and professions and stuff. I like kind of playing around with everything. My last MMO that I've been playing is SWOTOR, and I've been playing that off and on for, what's it been, a decade now? I've got like 30 plus characters, one of each class on both factions, and then all skill trees and all blah blah blah, and all professions. So I like doing all that kind of stuff. And if I can make like a human, what was that, Empyrean or whatever, elf, and then a Tolnar, I'd be pretty happy. Maybe a dwarf too for something silly. But no, I like that a lot. I do. Those were good questions at the end. Like I said, that I think events are going to be big in this game. The node events. I hope that they advertise them more, and that in the Alpha 2 they're really working, because that'll be great to play and have a good time with. So human race or wood elf. Yeah, the wood elf look good too. I forgot about them. I always forget that there's like 2 visually looking subspecies for every species, except for the Tolnar, where there's like 58, or however you mix and match them. But yeah, it's hard to say, because I always have like my characters. Like, you have like 4 main characters in MMOs, and each one's kind of like an archetype character. Like my main character at MMO game is Larkin. He's a tank. I mean, I always make him a beefy tank, and he's always some sort of unique species. So like back in Star Wars Galaxies, he was Ithorian. He's got a big long neck with like 2 eyeballs up here, and then his mouth was on the side, and I was a tank. I was a light side Jedi, and I had so much fun with it. Then I have like, what else do I have? I got Sokka has always been one of my other characters as a healer. Aki I've always had as a burst DPS kind of character, but she was a small little female character, and she just destroys people. And then I've got Gonk, which has been a crafter, or like Star Wars The Old Republic, he's more of like a tankier damage dealer, however. But I always like try to match the archetype with something that would match it. So like Sokka, healer, maybe he's always been like a big character, I guess, but he's a healer, so maybe I think that would be a high elf or something. Maybe I don't know. It's tough. Wood elf leather worker. Yeah, that's funny. And herblord. I don't know, that'd be cool. Yeah, I don't know. I really can't wait to see their crafting profession list, because I know there's going to be like leather workers, blacksmith, weaponsmith, and then all these processing classes and all this stuff. Making the ultimate character combo or something that I'm happy with, because like I want my main character. He's going to be a big tank, right? He's going to have a big shield, probably a one-handed sword. He's going to be big and beefy with armor. Like, do I want to go down the route of making armor for myself, basically? I'll be big and strong and just beat on people, and I'll be able to take a lot of damage. Or does he make weapons? Or maybe he does animal husbandry on the side. Makes battle pets or something, battle cats or something. I don't know, but I like I said all the time, I love this game. I have high hopes for it. I have a lot of faith in it. Intrepid Studios and Steven. I really think it's going to be a great game. I hope we're in August. I had a funny feeling that by like September we would have Alpha 2. Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen at this point. I wish we had Alpha 2 before the end of this year. And I think they've come a long way, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So I'm disappointed, but hey, that's how it goes. So, anyways, before I continue to ramble all night about my thoughts on the Ashes, thanks everybody for joining and watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please subscribe, follow me, hit the like button, depending on what service you're watching me on, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. I am Squeetee everywhere. You can check me out at squeetee.com. I got some links there and other factual information, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I appreciate everyone watching. Job Job, I appreciate you sitting here and watching with me and chit-chat. I know you said it was 6 a.m. for you, so I appreciate it a lot. But anyways, that's it for the night. I'll catch you all later. Have a good one, and hopefully I don't see you in a month and I stream again earlier. All right, bye guys.